Okay, we're going to start with a look at the hardware. Now, originally I did have this motherboard and processor in mind, but it seems to have died. This one had not only 4 SATA ports on board and the option for the expansion card, but one extra thing that this had, wherever it is, there is the opportunity for the Wi-Fi card. So I took the Wi-Fi card out and used this, which you can get, which will give you another controller and 2 SATA ports. So all in all, with the 6 on there, the 4 in here, and these 2, I could have got 12 SATA interfaces out of this board if it had worked. But I think that the time spent in the attic, and this I had to buy another cooler and fan for this, because it was exactly what this is. I think it was too much for the poor beast. So this is what we're dealing with now. Not exactly the fastest piece of kit on the market, and it's a real Heath Robinson job to put this together. It's still running the Antec liquid cooler, and when I first fired this up it sort of gave a gurgle 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 but fair play to it, it did come up. The RAM that was in it was dead, so I had to replace the RAM, and it's only DDR, DDR3. Not the best, but it works, and it will work long enough for me to do this. Sadly, there is no Wi-Fi on here. This thing is so old that underneath here there are even IDE and floppy drive connectors. That's how old this is, but it works. The card is in here for the 6 extra SATA ports, and those are also working. I have an SSD over here, which you can see there, and also that's where the operating system currently is, and these are the 2 3TB drives which are connected to the card here. This one is connected to the motherboard. Off to the left you can see come on camera. Off to the left you can see that I've got the 4TB and 3TB drive here, and Mint, Linux Mint is currently installed on this. So it's a bit of a Heath Robinson setup, but it works and it should do the job. Yeah, it's what do I say? All it's got to do really is prove the logic and prove that it works. Now, I've already put Mint on here, I've installed ZFS, I've also installed gparthead, so we can take a look at this. I'm going to shut this down, disconnect the 3TB here, so that we've got the initial setup, the 4TB and the 2 3TB connected. So we're going to then partition the 4TB and set up ZFS on this. So yeah. Okay, here we are with the system. Let's just open ourselves up a terminal and zoom this in a bit. Control and plus. I don't have an easy plus on this one, I don't think. Yeah, there we go. Now, one of the very useful things that you're going to need to learn when dealing with ZFS on Linux is how to work out which drive is which. Now, one of the things that I would recommend is that if you're putting drives in a tower, is that because the drives are going to be on top of each other, is that you actually write the last 4 or 5 digits, the last ones of the serial number on the drive somewhere where you're going to be able to see them, because the definitions are going to change, as you will see. And there's a very useful command. We're going to have to do this as sudo, which is lshw minus class and disk. That is going to print an awful lot of information about the disks that are in the machine. Here we go. That is a bit much. So what we're going to do is we're going to add on to that a grep, and we are going to grep for two terms. So we're going to open some quotes and we're going to go logical space n, and then we're going to go backspace pipe for the second one, and we're going to go serial. So that command is going to give us the same, but it's going to concatenate them a bit. And as you can see, what we have here is our boot drive is on SDA, the two 3 terabytes are on SDB and SDC, and the 4 terabyte is on SDD, and I can tell that from the first couple of letters of the serial number. So what we're going to do here is actually partition drive 4. So I'm going to need gparted to do this. Have I typed that right? I haven't. The keyboard is on my lap, so it's not the easiest. So as we can see here, we've got our drives. Whoops. The 2, 3. In fact, that's a bit different. The 4 terabyte is in as SDB. Interesting. Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, the WCAW and WMAW, those indicate the 3 terabytes, and the WCC7 indicates the 4 terabyte. Now, we're obviously going to delete that partition, but we need to create a partition that matches one of the 3 terabytes. So what I'm going to do is delete that partition, because I've been doing this before. And we'll delete that partition as well, because we're going to use the whole drives for those, and we're just going to apply that. On my lap, this is not the easiest. So when you're going to create a partition to match, we'll just go and start up a new partition, and the whole disk comes in and it gives you the number there, which in our case is 28,000 yada 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 blah. And this is because a 3 terabyte isn't actually strictly a 3 terabyte. It's a bit off. So we switch back to our 4 terabyte drive, and we'll actually delete that as well. So we'll create a new partition, and we'll put that information in there. Come on, do me a favor. So that will be our first partition, and then we will create another partition with whatever's left to match up with the other one. So we're going to do that. So that's creating the partitions, and when it comes back it's going to tell us what they are. Come on. Right, that's successfully done. So we have our partitions as SDB1 and SDB2. So that's pretty much done. We could actually get some warnings on some of these. I'm just going to delete that and delete that, because these have been previously used. Just going to apply that. So what we're going to do now is we're going to create our set. So we're going to go to sudo zpool create lion. It's going to be a mirror, and the first one is going to be s/dev sdc, and the next one is going to be /dev sdb partition 1. It's already got a partition on it. SDC, SDB1, ext4, force, and that should be it. So if we go sudo zpool status, we should see that there. Now we're going to add to that, and we're going to add the next one, add lion, another mirror, the other drive, which is SDD, and SDB2, the second partition. and we're actually going to sudo zpool set mount point equals /mnt/lion for lion. Set ZFS set mount point. There we go. So now if we ask for mount, you'll see that lion on the last line is mounted on /mnt/lion. You can do the -m option when you do the create in the first place, but that's pretty much about it. So if we ask, but that's how you do it after the event, because otherwise it'll put it straight on the root and you won't know where it's gone. That's one of the things that you've got to do when you're using ZFS on Linux. You haven't got to. You could have it on /root lion if you wanted, but it's you could consider it good form, I suppose. So if we ask for a ZFS list, we can see that we've got our pool there, and it's 4 terabytes, which is consisting of the 3 terabyte and the 3 terabyte partition, and the 3 terabyte drive and the 1 terabyte partition. So that's roughly how that is going on. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to shut this down, and I'm going to attach the other 3 terabyte drive, and we're going to see what's going on. I'm just going to sudo zpool export lion, and then restart the machine. See you in a minute. Okay, here we are, and we're just going to do an import. Sudo zpool import. We're going to import our pool again. I'm going to see what we got. Sudo zpool status. Okay. Now you'll note that those drives have come in, and rather than be labeled SDB and SDC, whatever they are, it's called them their actual serial number. You're going to have to watch out for that. And if we ask for the that, we'll just check the serial numbers. Okay, as you can see, the top one ending in 2528 is now on SDD, and the other one, 1761, is now on SDE. We have the other one, which is still on the 4 terabyte, is on SDE, sorry, SDC, so our new 3 terabyte drive is on SDB. So we're going to run sudo zpool set mount point, auto expand equals on for lion. Right, so that should make sure that auto expand is set on. It may be by default, I don't know. And we're going to do a sudo zpool replace. And we are going to replace the partition SDC2, which is the 1 terabyte partition, with the 3 terabyte drive. So we're going to replace SDC2 with dev SDB. So SDB being the new 3 terabyte drive that we've just added. Whoops, forgot to put the pool in. Lion. No such pool. Lion goes there. So now if we ask for a ZFS list, we should see that it has now jumped to be 6 terabytes total. It knows it's there, and it's if we do a sudo zpool status zzool Zool, that was a game, Zool. We can see now what's happened. We've got SDC1 there, which is the partition, and we've got SDB there. No known errors. Now, incidentally, if you actually wanted to share a ZFS on Linux, although ZFS does have an SMB publishing within ZFS, I believe that you actually have to use Linux file sharing within the SMB, yeah, I've forgotten the name of the config file, but you've got to do it within Linux in order to get it shared out so you can use it. So that's in there. So now what we're going to do is we are going to replace, obviously we've got some space on that 4 terabytes, so how about we use it? So what we're going to do is we're going to replace SDC1 on the VDEV with the whole of the drive of SDC. And I think we're going to have to use zpool lion offline SDC1. Nope. ZFS? Or is it offline before the pool? This is one of the problems. If you don't do this often, I advise looking it up. There we go, I got it the wrong way around. So if we now actually ask for a zpool status, it's offline. The set is now degraded, it's offline, and we are now going to, what is it, detach, remove, not supported on this, so must be detach. We've now detached it. So now if we ask for a zpool status, you can see that the VDEV is gone. So the VDEV has gone, it is now a single drive, and we want to bump that up. So we want to zpool attach lion, and we're going to need the full name of that, unfortunately. So we're just going to copy that and paste it, which is not easy with a mouse on my knee. Copy, paste, and we're going to attach the whole of the drive in dev SDC. So that should do that. Once it's done that, I mean, there's no data on this, so there's no resilvering going on, but if you've got data on these, obviously you've got to check your status and to make sure that everything is resilvered and happy before you actually start doing other operations. Otherwise you could easily toast things. But there we have it. The VDEV Mirror 0 now has that for the full 4 terabyte drive attached to that. And if on a later stage we were actually to replace the 3 terabyte ending in serial number 528 with a larger hard drive, then that would be great. After doing anything like this, I would suggest sudo zpool zfx zpool export. Would help if I could spell export lion. So we're just going to export it and import it again. So that's about it. Sudo zfs list. It's there, it sees it, and we know that we've got some space on that drive which can be used. So that's pretty much about it. We've been able to, with relatively straightforward simple commands, do some quite serious operations on our VDEVs to enhance what we've got on there, pretty much. It's trying to do this under what's the native Linux mirroring system? I've forgotten what it is. MDisk or something. MD something or other. Yeah, you see, I don't use it. I use ZFS. You can do very serious things. Obviously, if you're doing this via disparate hard drives, yeah, you've got to be careful. Expect trouble and practice this sort of thing. But as you've seen, we've been able to just straight out replace a partition with a disk. We've been able to delete one disk, and even though it's gone down and lost the VDEV, we've been able to then add another disk in to recreate the mirrored VDEV. It's that powerful, it's that flexible, but you've still got to take your time. So there you go. I hope you've enjoyed this. It's all going to be down to the planning, is the only thing that I can say. You've got to plan your disks, what you're going to do with them, how you're going to put them in, how you're going to partition them up, and what you're going to do if a new drive comes along. But systems like this are, as usual, as everyone will tell you, no replacement for having a backup. Resilience is no replacement, and this is just an added bonus that you can do if you happen to have a machine and some hard drives lying around that aren't doing anything. Certainly, by all means, give it a practice, give it a whirl, and that's another tool in your toolbox for you. Ciao for now.